It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you're watching First Warning Live, sponsored by Marco's Pizza. First Warning Live, where we focus on all things weather, and Marco's Pizza because we get hungry from time to time. We got a great deal of the week. I'll get to that in a moment. But what's on the top of most people's minds, even though we're a day away or so from the event, and I say event in quotation marks, it's the drops, flakes, and icy pellets that are on the table. Well, if that's on the table, what falls from the sky? Probably not much. Everybody wants to know how much snow. All right, here's the question. It's a philosophical question, but it's really something that's come by my experience in over 2 decades of doing this. Are we going to see some snow, or are we going to get some snow? You like how I use the verb there, see versus get? Are we going to get some snow? Well, we had that on February 19th of last year. Boy, did we get it. Boy, we got a wallop of 19. Well, on the 19th of February, I had 10, 11 inches of snow. So we got it then, but are you going to see some snow? Even that is subjective, because if you're asleep at 3 or 4 in the morning, maybe you don't see it. There's nothing to show for it. Maybe it melts on contact, and that's what I suspect is going to happen even where it snows, because these are going to be widely scattered showers, and they'll include some drops, they'll include some flakes, they may even include some icy pellets as well. Let's get to this map again, talking about what's going to fall from the sky. Headlines are very clear. A step warmer tomorrow. We were at 59 today. It exceeded my expectation. I mean, we were 59 today. Not 55 or 57, we were 59. We're going to be around 60 tomorrow. Rain, snow, mixed chance very early Thursday morning, and then the weekend outlook includes cooler weather, breezy with some spotty showers. There could be some spots of rain tomorrow. Did you not get that memo? Because at 5,000 feet, it could very well be snowing. But since you and I don't live at 5,000 feet, it melts and we get some rain tomorrow afternoon in spots. But what if, and it's a big what if your neighborhood gets a little bit of freezing rain or sleet, emphasis on sleet. You get a little shallow layer of warm air, it starts as snow, it melts, and then it becomes little icy pellets. Ding, 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 ding. You feel like you won the lottery if you hear it on your windshield. You know what I'm saying? Icy pellets and sleet, same thing. But some of you might be so lucky, if you're hoping for it, that you get some snowflakes, where it's cold all throughout the column, right? All through the column of air, you might get some snow. And I'm talking like 2 a.m. on Thursday to about, maybe, if you're generous, we'll go 7. 2 to 7. What is that, a 5-hour window on Thursday? That's it? That's it. That's why I say the best comment that I've seen posted as of late came from our friend, and I don't know him specifically, but he left a note yesterday. He left a note. This is Mike Barnett. He wrote the note, "I am over winter," but his follow-up note 24 hours later says it all. I think he's showing great wisdom. He says any snow forecast more than 4 days out, it's mostly a guess. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, you moved to the head of the class, Mike. You finally figured this out. So if you're buying into this clickbait and you're getting pulled out 6, 7 days out, we're going to get a blizzard, and somebody told you that online 6 to 7 days out, you better run the other way. You just better run the other way, because nobody really knows, right? Well, maybe the creator knows, but you don't know. I don't know. I can tell you the limitations of meteorology until these computers get faster, better with the physics. The GFS, which is the American model, was awful. Last Friday, it had us at 7 to 10 inches of snow with 18 inches in Manio. I'm not making that up. That was the future output of an American model that some people just put online and scared everybody who was afraid of snow. They got all scared. You just can't really excite yourself about anything in the winter weather world until you're within 2 or 3 days. Usually 3 days or less, you get a better handle on this. And this is just not a big deal. I've talked about this before, but let me go ahead and show you what this looks like. Satellite radar right now shows it's mostly clear. We have more clouds over the peninsulas right now. I do anticipate a few rain showers tomorrow afternoon. And most of those rain showers now are over southeast Ohio and northern sections of West Virginia. Now the futurecast, without delaying any of them, we just cut to the chase, Aldrich. Tomorrow morning it'll be partly cloudy around 7 a.m. That's what you're seeing right here. 7 a.m. This will be the brightest part of the day. Once the sun comes up tomorrow at 7:17. We get into midday, it's clouded up. And already, lo and behold, along I-95, there's a little passing shower coming in from the west. It might make it to Elizabeth City. It might make it to Edenton. It might make it to Chesapeake, to a neighborhood near you, maybe even Back Bay or Virginia Beach. That's representative of what time? 3 o'clock. So again, this is just a projection. It's not gospel, it's just guidance. And by 5 o'clock, if this is actually coming to pass, you might get a rain shower between Ahoskie, Elizabeth City, and maybe into parts of Suffolk. But I will say, most of the models aren't even this aggressive with the rain. They have very, very little rain. That's why I left it at 20% tomorrow. But lo and behold, we get to 11 o'clock tomorrow night. Some would say, well, it's game on, because I heard you say 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. Thursday, getting closer. There's only a 5-hour window of you getting any mixed precipitation, but you can see it clearly by 1 a.m. There's 2 a.m. It's beginning to snow northwest of Williamsburg. But I don't live in Williamsburg, you might be thinking. Well, maybe you don't. But by the time it hits 3 a.m., it looks like it's snowing pretty good in Williamsburg. Colonial Williamsburg's got snow, everybody. But where are you at 3 a.m.? I'm guessing you're probably asleep. So when I asked you the question, are we going to get some snow or are we going to see some snow? It might be a no-no, right? Because you're asleep, you didn't see it. And if you didn't see it when it fell, you're not going to get any. So there won't be any accumulation. Are we clear? I mean, we're just trying to highlight these are showers, right? Just because you get a rain shower doesn't mean it's a downpour. Just because snow is in the forecast doesn't mean you're having to shovel it or having to use a snowblower. This is not that event, my friend. This is not that at all. It's just the opposite. It's a nuisance event in quotation marks. So let's take this further, right? There's 3 o'clock. There's 4. It might be snowing in Cape Charles, but if you see that little ribbon of pink, that's the icy pellets. That's the sleet. That's possibly mixing in with some sleet and freezing rain. So it might be starting to rain in Suffolk at this particular hour in the future. Or it might be raining in Norfolk at that time, but it's still snowing in Williamsburg. But I want you to see what model is it. This is the graph. So it's very important you remember the name of this, because when I show you the future snowfall from the graph, it shows 0. So it might snow, actually fall from the sky, but there's nothing to show for it once it's all said and done. And by the time we hit 5 o'clock, it's winding down. It's still snowing in the eastern shore. Don't want to discount that. Might even be snowing in parts of Chicks Beach, right? Could be snowing in other areas in 757, but it could be raining around places like Currituck or Camden or maybe back toward Pasquotank. And then by 6 a.m. and take you to 7, it's gone. There's your 5-hour window. Were you impressed? Were you not impressed? That's all there is. So let's recap. Last Friday, a future model, we'll call it the American model, GFS, call it what it is. It's the global forecast system. It was projecting, for those in the weather world and the weather community, a 7 to 10 inch snow in the 757 and North Carolina, put a bullseye of 18 inches in Manio. So now we've gone from that to this, which is nothing, right? How much hysteria, how much anxiety has that created in the people who post this online, and people get all excited. They're verklempt, right? They get all excited about it. Something's going to happen, and then all we get is nothing. Because I slept in till 7:30. I missed it. I didn't see it, and I didn't get it, and that's what I suspect is going to end up happening when this is all said and done. Hey, I can tell you can save some money, though. If you want to save some money on your Marco's pizza, go to marcos.com and use the promo code WTKR50. Very happy to have them as a sponsor. They're generous enough to offer half off their pizza. There are 6 locations that you can participate in this half off pizza, but it's also the 6 locations that you can get free pizza, because as of Thursday, we're going to be announcing a new winner. That winner is going to be receiving free pizza for a year. And if you're not sure what that looks like, we mail out through the U.S. Postal Service. We'll send out the winner a pizza for a year certificate where you receive 1 large, 1 topping pizza from Marco's every month for free. So now that this is January, you would receive, if you are randomly selected, 2026, you'll get 12 pizzas, 1 month for each year. One pizza for every month of this year. Your name would go in the upper left-hand corner, and we've given away hundreds of pizzas since last May. But if you're not familiar with Marco's, they've got a great stromboli or calzone type of product called the Pozzoli. I love it. It's great for lunch. You could grab it, very filling. The pepperoni magnifico is another staple, another great product they have that is commonly ordered when you go to marcos.com. And if you want to win some free pizza, we'll announce the winners on Thursday, WTKR.com/Marcos. That's our webpage. But there are so many things on the menu. If you're not familiar with it, they've got pizza, they got Pozzolis, they got the pizza bowl without the crust. Maybe you want a dessert. Maybe you want subs, breads, that would be cheesy breads. They've got it all. They also have some amazing subs. Maybe a steak and cheese, a chicken club, or Italiano sub might be calling your name. Maybe you prefer to get half off a meatball sub. They have that too. And I have tried the set of squares. They're fantastic. I've not tried it with the chocolate yet, but if you're hungry for dessert, they have that off at 50% off this week because this is the deal of the week. Very happy to have Marcos again as a sponsor. All you have to do is use our TV call letters. That's WTKR 50. Put it in the promo code, and that will take half off your bill. But you have to use these 6 locations to get that discount. And soon we'll be announcing more winners on Thursday. If you got a message or want to leave me a note, I will do my best to kind of articulate. I'm going to put some new comments on here because I've been looking at yesterday's comments, and that doesn't help me. So with my software, and I'm just loading them up right now, if you have a comment that you want to voice about the snow, maybe you're thrilled that this is a nothing burger for most, because most of us aren't going to have much to show for it, and if you sleep in, you're going to miss it altogether. That's my suspicion. There are some new comments that might be coming in. Kim Thompson-Jones just put in here, hello everybody, glad to have her here. And now I got Norma Lee saying, I'm running now, LOL. Well, very good, Norma. I'm glad you're enjoying the weather. And when it gets really warm this spring, you'll have better weather to maybe do some jogging, running, and all the rest. But let's get back. We talked about the snow. How much snow is this graph model projecting? Well, it doesn't look like much, right? Because I don't see any. This is the graph. This takes you through Thursday at noon. We know this thing is going to be over by 7 a.m. on Thursday. It shows nothing here. Despite the fact it may fall, it's likely to fall apart and show no accumulation whatsoever. Now, we could get some rain, but even the rain is paltry, doesn't even register in the future rain gauges here. We still see zeros, but we have some green background, so we can suggest that some rain is going to fall. The European is not much different. Very limited moisture. Nags Head 0.2, but really not much to see there. And there's snowfall forecasts from the European model, which has been a little more consistent and well grounded during this event. Put some good snow in the Great Smoky Mountains. The horseshoe effect, as it's known in my East Tennessee background where I was for 15 years, would suggest the valley misses out, but they may very well get some in eastern Kentucky and in the Great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee and into North Carolina as well. And there could be some good snows for snowshoe, for snowboarders and skiers there. But if you're looking for snow for here, you're going to miss it pretty quickly. And the European, again, shows zeros for future snowfall. And the GFS model still making outrageous claims. This is the same model that was calling for, let's go ahead and put this on here, was calling for 7 to 10 inches. And now all it's showing is 0.2, 0.1. It's got some problems with its physics. So let's just go ahead and discount that. But if I don't show it to you, you think I'm like holding back. I'm not holding back. I just think that there are some models that do better with certain situations, but this was not it. This was not the GFS's shining moment, as it were. It was cold this morning, had to bring back the frozen face because we were down to 28 this morning, and that happened very cold this morning. Kind of curious to know, how cold were you in the AM hours today? Because it was certainly cold enough to note that so cold, in fact, it was at 7:35 this morning. We fell to 28. Chesapeake fell to 26. It was 23 in Suffolk and 20 in Emporia. But we did rebound to the upper 50s, to be fair. It was 56 today in Elizabeth City, 59 in Suffolk, 59 in Norfolk. Norfolk hit 59 at 2:41 this afternoon. Now, here's my planner for tomorrow. I did mention some raindrops that would come in the afternoon, but I do think we'll get some early sunshine here. Go back and change my telestrator back to yellow. It's probably a little easier to see here. But certainly early sunshine here, 53 by noon. It's the southwest wind 10 to 20 that'll be noticeable, and that should push us to around 60, if not the upper 50s again tomorrow. It just won't be as bright. It will be not as bright tomorrow as it was today. Today was pretty nice. So if we take the projection, and this is as of 8 o'clock, we're in the 40s, right? It'll take us still in the mid-40s at 11. But watch what happens. We start tomorrow around 39, right? Around 39 degrees potentially, and that's pretty much an average between inland Virginia and Southside, inland North Carolina, about 39. Should be around 53 at noontime. I'm looking here at this particular timestamp, and I think we have a good shot at getting into the upper 50s to low 60s. The wind, I think, would drive that. And then we head into Thursday. This is an upside down day like we had on Sunday. Because if I told you the high on Sunday was 68 degrees, some of you who have very sharp memories would say there's no way It was 68 degrees in Norfolk on Sunday. It was around 12:19 in the morning. We spent most of Sunday where? In the 50s and 40s because our temperatures were tumbling down. So conveniently, I like to refer to the passage of a cold front as an upside down day. This upcoming Thursday is no different. We're going to start in the mid 40s and we're just going to go do. Wait, it's going to get colder, right? We'll spend most of the day on Thursday in the 30s. The 30s, yeah, with gusts around 30 miles an hour, it's going to feel blustery. It's going to be like at noontime or 11, still around 34. It doesn't move much. So what's the high temperature? We forecast for a 24-hour maximum. It's going to happen around midnight. It's going to happen around midnight. So dress for the 30s, maybe with the wind chills, dress for the 20s as we head into Thursday. We are much warmer this evening. We're now running 14 degrees warmer now in Suffolk than we did this time last night. It's 11 plus in Currituck, Elizabeth City, and Newport News, and it's 12 degrees warmer in Gloucester. But Emporia seems to be the big number there. They're plus 18. So if you compare where Emporia was at, say, 7:55 last night, you're running almost 20 degrees warmer. These are the current readings, and I do note that we just dropped a degree. We were 50 at 7 o'clock, but this is actually updating. The computer's doing its job. It's updating the temperatures to the current numbers where we're in the 40s to near 50. We have 51 in Portsmouth, it's 50 in Newport News, 50 in Gloucester, and 48 in Carrollton. If you've got a message or something you like to share, let's see here. See, 32, Taj Brown is on here. Hey, Taj, good to see you. I guess he's noting he's watching and keeping an eye on the WTKR app. Let me put his note back on. I was trying to clear off the telestrator. I didn't mean to take off your comment. But he's saying the WTKR weather app said 32.5 this morning, or 32 at 5 this morning. We very well could have been that warm depending on where you are, because neighborhoods sometimes you're going to find a high level of variability in the 757 based on whether you're near the coast, where there's a warming effect, maybe near the water. If the water temperature is a certain temperature during the year, where you can get radiational cooling inland North Carolina, and that's why you had temperatures like 23 in Suffolk, or in Emporia it was like 20. So the cold air can vary from town to town, a lot of times because of location. But tonight should not be, knock on wood, won't be as cold. In fact, many of us will be closer to 40 than 30 tonight. Repeat, many of us will be closer to 40 than the actual 30, which many of us got pretty close to last night or this morning. So I'm looking for a low of 38 Melfa, 37 Moyock, 36 in Audlander, and 43 in Corolla. So you've got some variability there too. 60s where I think we're going to be tomorrow. If you only make it to the upper 50s, don't be surprised if you get a rain shower. That could prevent you from reaching the big 6-0. But it's tumble down on Thursday, as we'll spend most of the day in the 30s, and I think we're struggling to reach 42 on Friday, even though we've got bright sunshine throughout the period of time. It is now 7:57. I've got a 40% chance of precipitation on Thursday. We've already looked at that close up. You can see that some might get some flakes, like Williamsburg, Exmoor, Cape Charles. You might have the best chance of seeing some flakes, but you're going to have to get up at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. If you're a real snow diehard fan, that may not be worth it to you, right? It may not be worth the squeeze, or the juice worth the squeeze to get up at 3 or 4 in the morning just to see it just fall apart when it lands on a warm ground. 20% chance of rain, however, on Saturday and Sunday. Let me show you what that looks like. We're going to start here. I told you it was going to be mostly sunny on Friday. I have good reasons and good evidence to suggest that will be what happens, although it's awfully cold. If I take you through 5 o'clock Friday, it's still mostly sunny. There's a few clouds in here, but all in all, it's a bright, sun-filled day, despite the fact it's deceivingly cold outside. Once we move into Saturday, again, this is going to be a little bit overstated, but it suggests maybe a spot of rain around the eastern shore. That's 7 a.m. And if we get a shower, and again, I think this is overstated, but there could be, in this particular area of our 757, we could get a spotty shower around midday on Saturday. But by the time you hit about 4 o'clock, 3:34, it's gone. It's all gone. Sun's back out. So chance of rain based on other guidance would suggest only about a 20% chance on Saturday. Sunday's a little bit different. We'll go ahead and fast forward to Sunday at 7 a.m. if you're up early for church services, or you've got some running that you're doing that we learned a moment ago from our friend from Norma Lee. She's running now. She said LOL. But if you're running at 7 a.m. on Sunday, Norma, there may be a few showers along the Outer Banks. That's 7 o'clock on Sunday morning. And if we carry this a little bit further, it would suggest a little bit more rain in North Carolina by midday Sunday. Then that tries to pull away as well. All right, it's time now to talk about the cold, because sometimes you like to know what kind of trend are we going to see 30 days from now. The Arctic air that rotates counterclockwise does get displaced from time to time based on what's called a sudden stratospheric warming event, and it can change the wind direction and push that Arctic air to a neighborhood near you. My suspicion is, as I look at today's maps, this is the map from today. This is not a forecast. This is a temperature analysis at roughly 10 or 11 miles up in the sky. But this is very, very bullish when I see lots of red, because we know warm air rises, cold air sinks. If it's warming at 10 miles up, if it's warming at 11 miles up, it's going to squeeze some cold air down. And if we look at this a little bit more closely, go ahead and take the telestrator off. I suspect by the time we hit the 13th of February, because this is usually a 30-day delay, like a time release, it takes typically 30 days for this to manifest, so before the models can even sniff it out, there's likely to be some very cold air, if you follow the coloring here, in this direction. And it very well may push down toward the mid-Atlantic or New England. So just because it gets really cold around the 13th of February, which is a month from now, just because it gets really cold, cold air is typically dry. So you would need another system that is moisture laden to come up here, and then kaboom, you could get a good snowstorm. You can only hope. But as we learned from the wisdom a moment ago from Mike Barnett, you usually have to wait within 4 days, right? I can give you projections. You need cold air. I know that's an important ingredient to get snow. It's going to be really warm like we had this past weekend on Saturday. There's no chance to get snow when it's 75 degrees last Saturday. But now, as we head into our Thursday morning pre-dawn, there is a chance that some of you may see a few isolated flakes. If you need more evidence for the upper air pattern, just look no further than Dr. King Day and Tuesday the day after, because January 20th, that was a pivotal point for me. I said by the time we get to the 19th of January, I think winter would pull back. And maybe so, because it looks like the worst of the cold is not in Hampton Roads, it's in upstate New York, in purple. So that may be where that next spoke comes down toward the 12th of February. I do think we've got some, obviously, back and forth, kind of like you see here, tracking these little purple circles. This is the cold air that comes in and comes in spokes, comes in waves, and that's going to be the case, I think, going right into the next month of February. Today's high hit 59, the record high. 1890 was 76 on this date, but it was remarkably 11 degrees warmer than it was yesterday, despite the fact it was so cold this morning. Just checking in with some other comments from you. Who is else on here? See, Kim says, I like to see, Kim has I guess it could be a request. Let me see if I can fly this in here. She says, I'd like to see 1 inch or 2 of snow before winter is over. Make it happen. She's laughing. I have said, I've been on record for saying since Halloween that this would be a front-end loaded winter. So if we get some snow on Thursday the 15th, of January, I said probably till the 19th, and then it's pulling back. I think this might be the last hurrah. So, Kim, if you want to get in your car, park it, maybe get a hotel in Williamsburg or Exmoor or Cape Charles, they would be thrilled for the business. Go up there and just camp out, and you can sit in a lawn chair and watch it snow around 3 in the morning. Not practical, probably not within reason, right? But that's how limited this is, I think, going forward. But we'll see. I have been known to eat crow before, but right now I'm sticking to my original forecast. Multiple sources for information. Best to be had if you have the download of the free News 3 First Warning weather app. The NOAA Weather Radio also works great, for example, as well. If there are any airport delays, it looks like that's not the case. Sometimes we can detect travel issues based on the lower 48. Right now we've got some rain going on in places like Louisiana. Parts of southeast Texas. Houston's had a few rain showers as it's lifting northeast. And if you're in the military, you have family in Kansas City or Louisville, Kentucky, they also have some rain tonight, stretching across parts of the Ohio Valley. And back to the northeast, it looks like it's snowing in upstate New York, not far from Watertown, or at least further east, back toward maybe parts of northern and even central sections of Vermont. They're getting some snow showers at this hour. So that's the big picture back home here. Virginia Beach and Norfolk, things look pretty quiet. Expect a mostly clear night tonight. Now I want to show you a projection that takes us for the next 10 days. As you can see here, this is representative of the 13th, which is today. Add 10 days, that takes you to 23rd. Tell me, curiously, when do you think we're going to get walloped with some big snow? I'm going to go ahead and advance this. well, that right there is the event Thursday. That's mainly the eastern shore. But once that's gone, what kind of evidence do we have for a snow? I don't see it. We can move this forward a little bit more. Some snow in the West Virginia mountains, maybe some off the coast, but it really looks like a rainmaker. So it's going to be a while, I think, as things start to change and ebb and flow back to a back and forth type of winter where it's warm 3 or 4 days and it's cold 3 or 4 days. By the way, it's currently 49 in Portsmouth, Virginia Beach, and Suffolk. It's 49 in Newport News right now. Hampton, your 8 o'clock temperature is 51 degrees. Smithfield, you're at 47. Don't go anywhere, Smithfield, because I got some great pictures to honor and salute you in the happy shots here coming up momentarily. 46 in Manio, it's right now Kip to Peak, 47. Yorktown, you're at 53. Good evening to you. Surrey is at 50, and Richmond is at 50 degrees. Knoxville, 49. You had a high of 57 today in East Tennessee, and 56 currently now in Nashville. But if you look at the big map, we've already flirted with some cold air. It's up here. It's up here where Lynn Lake Airport, it's -9. It's -8 in Fort Severn. Not places that I care to visit, but I do know they have an airport, and they're kind enough to provide their temperature. It's -6. And Island Lake up in Canada, that's cold, but some of that will try to work its way down. We can see that ooze down in white and blue, gets all the way down to Georgia. Over the time that we move through the next couple of days, it really gets down to the Ohio Valley heading into Monday. That's why I had the projection is even colder. I have a high on Tuesday, the day after Dr. King Day, of 38 degrees. There's a lot of cold air here in white, some of the Arctic cold. I mean, we're paving the highway in blue, but this is the really frigid air where some of those single digits are going to be back in no time flat. Temperature outlook, 23rd. This takes you through the 19th and 23rd. This is the 6 to 10-day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. Very, very warm relative to the normals in the Four Corners, but below normal for the Great Lakes and all the way down toward the southeast. But the temperature outlook in the 8 to 14 outlook takes you through the 27th. It's below normal for the Great Lakes if you have family here. They're going to continue on the wintry theme while it gets a little toastier in Florida and New Orleans, perhaps above normal temperatures there. Go ahead and clear off the telestrator. Here are the Eastern Shore numbers I expect tomorrow. About 50 for Saxis with increasing clouds, 51 for Onancock and Bloxham, 51 for Exmoor, and 52 for Cape Charles with some spots of rain. Also about 56 for Kill Devil Hills, Manio, Wanchese in Roanoke Island, 54 in Duck, and 55 Nags Head. Rodanthe, about 56, and more clouds for Hatteras and Ocracoke, about 59, 56 respectively. So the Storm Prediction Center highlighting some dark colors would usually mean isolated in green or yellow would be scattered, but the good news is we're in that quiet pattern. This time of year, there's just not much to see between now and 7 a.m. Nothing to see here on Wednesday, and news flash, nothing to see on Thursday. So we're kind of a void from the severe weather threat. I showed you this a moment ago about how we could get a few showers this weekend that might be in the Eastern Shore on Saturday, more concentrated in the Outer Banks on Sunday. But as we've shown you this before, and if you're just joining us late, the question that you might have on your mind, and it was a pretty fair question, I'm not questioning that, but the question is, are we going to get some snow, or are we going to see some snow? And the answer is probably no and no, because you'll probably be asleep, you won't see it, probably not going to get it because you can't measure it, but it doesn't mean it didn't fall. It's like the tree. It falls in the forest, right? Unless you were there, you heard the word, nobody yelled timber. It just falls. It'll fall from the sky, and then it's moving on. It won't be around for too long. That's why I say if you really, really want some snowflakes, you might have to travel northbound on, say, late Wednesday night, Thursday morning, because this is how it's showing up between 2 and 7. This shows it's northwest of Williamsburg. That area in Williamsburg is snowing around 3 in the morning. So this is the height of the event for Williamsburg, and I don't think it's going to stick. Maybe on a cold car rooftop or a grassy surface, but I think that might be generous because even though it appears to be snowing, it could be mixing it with rain, so it's very wet content. Maybe it makes for a good, not even enough for a snowball. But I do think the Eastern Shore may get some snow there at 5 in the morning, and if it brushes through parts of Virginia Beach, don't be surprised at 4, 5, or 6 in the morning, because by 7, it's all done, nothing to see here. Moving on. By the way, it's now 8:09. Our low temperatures tonight will be closer to 40 rather than 30. About 40 for the peninsulas, 39 for North Carolina, 37 for Franklin and Hosky. about 38 Elizabeth City, 39 Williamsburg and Gloucester. Matthews about 39 tomorrow, 43 for Corolla and Nags Head. As we take a look at the pagoda there, we got 60 for a high with more clouds in the afternoon. 54 for the Peninsulas, 59 North Carolina. We've got a high of 56 in Hampton, 57 in Portsmouth. I think we'll have a good chance to get to 60 simply because they were in the low 60s southwest of us today, and I think that's all going to be knocking on the door tomorrow. So you may be surprised how close we are to 60 in many neighborhoods tomorrow. Here's your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. Some morning rain to flakes with a little bit of a mix. Spending most of the day in the 30s. So it's academic. What's the high temperature? Well, unless you're up at midnight, just dress for the 30s. I mean, we could have done that. Just put the 30s, as that's what we're going to expect on Thursday. Mostly sunny on Friday. We start the day around 23. Now, that'll catch your attention. That's 23 in Norfolk. You could be in the upper teens in Emporia or possibly even Franklin come Friday morning. That's how cold it's going to be. Saturday, some spots of rain, 53. 42 on Sunday. Of course, Dr. King Day is Monday. It's a federal holiday. We got a 3-day weekend. A lot of kids are off school. But look at how cold it is the next day. Back to school, perhaps 38 degrees for a high. That's cold, and that's coming to a neighborhood near you. By the way, it's Smithfield. I randomly picked a town I thought would highlight. This is coming by way of our WTKR photographers group. So some of these images might have a little bit of age on them, but AJ, thank you for sharing this beautiful picture of Smithfield. Smithfield's a beautiful town. Clouds in Smithfield from Sandra Dean Snyder. Also, even with the clouds, it just really looks awesome right by the water. And then the Smithfield station, which I love to pass by. Jimmy Hardison capturing this beautiful sunset picture. So if you haven't been to Smithfield lately or ever, I would encourage you to check it out any time of year, because even though it's cold, some of us might want the jacket, but it is a nice, beautiful place to see all the same. By the way, as we take a look at that 7-day forecast one more time, just want to highlight the fact that we have mostly clear skies expected tonight. Some of these clouds that you have over I-95 to the north and west will begin to shake out, but there's the 7-day forecast. We'll be pushing 60 come tomorrow. By the way, if you don't want 60, you want 50, how about this? 50% off your pizza and anything you order at Marco's using the promo code WTKR50. You can screenshot it, save it, share it, but it's only good at the participating stores. And I'm talking about these 6 stores. They all have the 757 phone numbers, 3 Virginia Beach, 2 in Chesapeake, 1 in Norfolk. And because today is Tuesday, we're just 2 days away from giving away free pizza for a year to another recipient. All it takes is to register, take 1 or 2 minutes, go to this webpage, that's our webpage, put in your address and email so we can send you the certificate. But if you win, and we've had a lot of people win, the pizza for a year certificate would look like this, and it would act like a punch card, right? Because if you and redeem it for your large one-topping pizza in January, you could check mark it there and put it on your refrigerator so you keep track of all 12 pizzas with one topping all the way through December. Look at all the money that you would be saving. It's a real gift, and I really want to thank Marco's for being generous, because they didn't have to do that, but they like giving away. They're that confident that you'll love their product, and I love their product too. My first time I ever tried Marco's was for the Pozzoli, and then I got onto the pizza. So I really like the pepperoni and sausage Pozzoli. The great news is you can get that off at 50% off tonight. You can get anything on their menu at half off, whether it be a Pozzoli, pizza bowl, sub, breads, wings, or even salads like a Greek salad or dessert. They have it to offer. Maybe you want to go all in with the works, because the works are really good. You get the pepperoni, ham, green peppers, Italian sausage. I'm getting hungry, just think about it. Italian sausage, mushrooms, bacon, and onions. All of that, take half off, and suddenly you now get to try something really, a special treat. And you can do small, medium, large, whatever you want, whatever pizza, they'll help you out when you use the promo code WTKR50. All right, so just want to remind you, it doesn't matter that we're not going to have to shovel snow. It doesn't matter if it's not as sunny tomorrow. It really doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or serious. It just doesn't matter. Every day we get is a gift. Think about it that way. If you are, just make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll take it up and talk more about this tomorrow. Take care.